The jazz program for me has provided an amazing sense of community that I haven't really experienced that many other places or any place at all elsewhere in high school. It's such a tight-knit group of talented individuals. So it's a social space, it's an artistic space. It's a wonderful place to create and to share ideas, and I think for me it is basically my social and artistic outlet.
The community, really. I didn't have an opportunity to experience that beforehand, just because I was really self-conscious about my playing, and but now I'm able to be in the same room with other musicians, which is terrific.
I would emphasize the community. I would say that there are a lot of really great people. It's a great place to find a group, but also express yourself, and you can kind of grow in different facets of your person, like being an individual, but also being a team player, but also uplifting others. And so I think there's a lot of components to jazz.
I feel like Roosevelt Jazz has taught me about cooperation. It's taught me about persistence. It's taught me a lot about integrity and discipline, and just a lot of these core values that we hold as a community and as a program.
I think it's motivating to be able to be back together singing in a group.
I really appreciate the community within Roosevelt Jazz. I think there's such a strong dedication to the craft and to music, especially within jazz, because it's kind of a niche, and with vocal jazz especially, the ensemble is super strong, and the community has always been super strong. So I appreciate that a lot. It's very, very exciting.
To Roosevelt Jazz Big Band Gala. My name is Nelson J., and it's great to be with you tonight as your MC and fundraising ambassador. I'm also parent of an alumni of the Roosevelt Jazz Band, Toby J., class of 2019, so great to be back with the Roosevelt family. And we have a killer show for you tonight. I'm super excited that we get to share 3 live bands with you tonight. We'll hear messages from our incredible educators and band directors, Dr. Jean Marie Kent, Michael Van Bebber, and of course Scott Brown. Also tonight we'll hear a pre-recorded rehearsal from Vocal Jazz, who can't be with us in person tonight because they are actually out performing live at the Commencement Bay Jazz Festival tonight. And we have more information on that a little bit later. But to kick things off, I'm super excited to introduce the Roosevelt the Roosevelt Jazz Board Chair, and a parent who entrusted me with her son on a cross-country red-eye flight. That's right, Parker Casaza and I traveled to New York City on a red-eye right after this event in 2019, straight from the event to New York City. And to tell you about why we're all here tonight, please welcome Roosevelt Board Chair Gwyneth Casaza.
Thank you, Nelson. I just want to take a minute and thank all of you for being here with us tonight. I think one of the things that I found so incredible about being the chair of the Roosevelt Jazz Boosters is the amazing parent and community that we have, parent population and community that we have here supporting the program. So tonight is really about the kids and the music and the program, and really for people like me, parents who have seniors who will be leaving the program, paying it forward and really doing what it takes to make sure that we can sustain this amazing nationally recognized program. So with that, I'll hand it over to Nelson to get this party started. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Gwyneth, and great job to all the students for hanging in there. The last 2 years have been incredibly challenging, and tonight we all have an opportunity, including those of you at home watching, to do something special and say thank you. Clearly, we've missed classes of 2022 and 2021 performing live, and tonight, how exciting that we get to hear in 2022 live jazz again, right here from the incredible Roosevelt Theater on campus. Well, friends, tonight is a fundraiser, so if you haven't yet given, now's the time to make that gift. This is going to be telethon style. You'll have an opportunity all night long to make a gift. The easiest way to do that is to go to RJB Gala 2022, rjb2022.ggo.bid. That gets you to our Greater Giving link, and from that you can make a gift right there through the Donate Now or Raise the Paddle button. You can also bid on auction items, and more on that a little bit later. If you prefer text to give, we're so high-tech, we can handle that. You can text keyword Roosevelt Jazz, that's Roosevelt Jazz, to 366-283. Once again, 366-283, keyword Roosevelt Jazz, to get us started. Well, I'm super excited. Tonight is all about music, and without further ado, I'm going to toss it to Jazz Band 3 under the direction of Michael Van Bebber. Here they are. And for those in the audience, feel free to clap.
All right, that was Don't Get Around Much Anymore by Duke Ellington. It was a Michael Sweeney arrangement. We featured Josh Gargett on the piano, Chloe Mai on trumpet, and Anna Sayers on the tenor saxophone. We're going to continue with a Joe Henderson composition entitled Mamacita. This one's going to feature Justin Davies on trumpet and Hannah Hanchar on the alto saxophone. All right, our next selection is When I Fall in Love. This one's going to feature Adele Davies on the alto saxophone and Anna Sayers on the tenor saxophone. This is When I Fall in Love. All right, you heard from Adele Davies on the alto saxophone and Anna Sayers on the tenor saxophone. We have one more selection for you tonight. We're going to play the Clifford Brown composition entitled Daoud. This one's going to feature Justin Davies on the trumpet, Anna Sayers on tenor saxophone, and Bennett Hess on the drums. This is Daoud.
Wow, terrific job, Jazz Band 3 under the direction of Michael Van Bebber. Let's give him a hand one more time. That was outstanding. Just incredible music, and shocking to me that they are so polished and tight after being sequestered behind masks and so much more. So what an incredibly long, strange trip it's been for everybody in live music, and we're so appreciative of you spending your Saturday evening with us to support Roosevelt Jazz. This is a fundraiser benefiting this incredible Seattle Public School program, and we have an amazing program ahead. Super excited to announce that tonight, through your generous help, we already have raised nearly $12,000 during our telethon-style fundraiser. Gifts have been coming in. If you haven't yet made your gift, now's the time to do that. You can watch the show on the big screen, give on the small screen. Once again, a reminder on those ways to give. You can visit us on our Greater Giving link, and that is at rjb2022.ggo.bid. Once again, rjb2022.ggo.bid, and that will get you to our giving page. You can also text to give, and the text to give number is 366-283. Once again, text Roosevelt Jazz to 366-283. And wanted to let you know, when you are there visiting our Greater Giving page, you have a chance to bid on auction items. You can also make a virtual Raise the Paddle gift, and it's a real gift, but it's virtual because we're coming to you live from the theater, but you're at home. We wish we were together, and we will be soon enough, but in the meantime, let's support this incredible program that is Roosevelt Jazz. So wanted to let everybody know that the online auction can be reached through that rjb2022.ggo.bid link, and that link will get you right to the page where you can bid on auction items. The online auction has been open for a few days. The bidding is spirited, so hop on and check that out. And bidding is open tomorrow until 5 p.m. That's Sunday, March 27th, 5 p.m. All online auction items will close. We have some incredible trips, including a getaway for two to Walla Walla, Washington. We also have an amazing 3-bedroom condo, thanks to one of our families, the Rudnicks, and that's down in Bend, Oregon at Sun River, and so much more. A private party at the incredible The Shop. It's an automotive lover's dream clubhouse down in South Seattle. That's a chance to hang out in their poker room for a night in a custom party. So check out those items and more in the online auction, closing tomorrow, 5 p.m. Well, look, we just got a $1,000 donation coming in. We're up to nearly $13,000. A few shout-outs to folks that are out there. The Fulton family alumni folks, the Buchanan family, and so many more. And look, another $1,000 gift coming in tonight. We're now up to nearly $14,000. Keep those gifts coming. We'll shout out our donors a little bit later. Tonight, I'm excited to announce, I mentioned it earlier, that the vocal jazz ensemble couldn't be with us tonight here in the theater because they are competing and have been competing today at the Commencement Bay Jazz Festival down in Tacoma. And great news, under the leadership of Dr. Jean Marie Kent, Roosevelt Vocal Jazz taking 3rd place tonight at that jazz festival. So let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And now, to tell you a little bit more about the Vocal Jazz program and some of the challenges that have been part of that experience, here she is, Dr. Jean Marie Kent.
Right, we were really active before the pandemic. We had rehearsals every morning, we had traveling, we had retreat, we had multiple concerts, we had invitations to come out and perform for small groups. So we were really busy, really active, both with solo singing for vocal jazz and ensemble singing. I think it's been a real roller coaster of emotions. I feel like when we first shut down, there was the uncertainty about how long we were going to be away, and still trying to make sure that, for example, small things like students had their instruments or students had all their music so they could still be practicing and doing what we were doing in class, but on their own in their homes. Keeping kids connected to each other So making sure that all of them were showing up for class on time, cameras off or on, but knowing that we could hear their voices and hear what they were doing, encouraging them to still listen to jazz, keep it in your ears, keep it in your hearts, keep doing what you loved doing before, because there's going to be a time when we get to go back. And then we're now able to perform, we're now able to invite in an audience, and now we're even able to invite in a bigger audience. And last Friday, we did our big festival, our first festival performance, which felt awesome because it felt like we were back doing what we had been doing before. But knowing that like I can work a little bit extra with one of the students before we start or have everything set up so we're geared to go towards a big, good rehearsal that feels solid, yeah, that's what's getting me up in the morning.
Wow, outstanding. Thank you so much to the Vocal Jazz Ensemble, and congratulations on their third place finish tonight at the Commencement Bay Jazz Festival in the City of Destiny, Tacoma, Washington. Well, we're back live with you here at the Roosevelt Theater, and I'm super excited to give you a fundraising update. Big shout outs to Michelle Elliott, Joan Crooks, and Carlos Gonzalez. Each one of those names, those families, just donated $1,000 to the Roosevelt Jazz Program. So let's have a big hand for those folks. I mentioned it earlier. A big shout out also to the Fulton family, Frank, Sarah Fulton, in at $1,000. And if you'd like to join those $1,000 donors, now is the time to make those gifts, friends. Remember, this is an opportunity to thank these educators, celebrate Roosevelt Jazz, and pay it forward to the students that are yet to come through this incredible program. We're going to hear from a distinguished alum a little bit later tonight, Devon Lewis, an amazing testimonial about the power of Roosevelt Jazz, the power of music to move us, to groove us, to heal us. And with that in mind, we're going to get healed right now with some old-time religion from Mr. Michael Van Bebber and Jazz Band 2. Here they are.
That was I Let a Song Go Out of My Heart by the great Duke Ellington. That one featured Cameron Mosquito on the clarinet, Jack Hillstrom on the baritone saxophone, featured Nora Hakimian on the piano, and also Theo Long on the trombone. That was I Let a Song Go Out of My Heart. We're going to continue with the Herbie Hancock composition entitled Tell Me a Bedtime Story. This one's going to feature Yoshi Takeno on the tenor saxophone. Tell Me a Bedtime Story. right, you heard from Yoshi Takeno on the tenor saxophone. And we're going to continue with a great bassy tune that was written by Sammy Nestico. This one's entitled That Warm Feeling. We're going to feature Nora Hakimian on piano. That Warm Feeling. All right, we have one more selection for you tonight. We're going to play Turnabout by Benny Carter. This is another one that Basie used to play. We're going to feature Yoshi Takeno on tenor saxophone, Sky Van Skoyak also on the tenor saxophone, and we're going to have some trading between the trumpet players. Also, we're going to have Holden Abermonte, who just stepped in a few days ago to substitute for Nick Chang. So he's from Jazz Band 1. He's going to be subbing with us tonight. And also Simon Harrington, and a little bit more of Nora Hakimian on piano. This is Turnabout.
Wow, there they are, Jazz Band 2 under the leadership of Michael Van Bebber. Let's hear it for him one more time. Great job, band. Woo! Cookin'. Wow, outstanding. Well, friends, what a great evening of live jazz music we have coming to you tonight from the Roosevelt Theater right here in Northeast Seattle. We so appreciate you joining us tonight. Wanted to let everybody know at home, if you're moved by jazz music or any kind of music, and you'd like to support this incredible program tonight, please consider making a gift right now. And I wanted to remind everybody that it's okay to make a gift more than once. Some people say, Nelson, can we give more than one time? The answer, of course, is yes. And with your help tonight, we will have a terrific evening. So the ways to give, once again, scrolling across your screens, but if you are hearing my voice but can't see the monitor, then remember the ways to give. Visit rjb2022.ggo.bid, and that will get you to our Greater Giving site where you can both make a donation through the Raise the Paddle button. Click on that Raise the Paddle button, and you'll be directed to predetermined giving levels where you can make a gift that works just right for you. And our hope would be that you'd consider making a gift just above what you thought you might give when you came in to the program tonight. Also, if you prefer text to give, we can do that. Text to give, text keyword Roosevelt Jazz to 366-283. Once again, that number 366-283, and that keyword is Roosevelt Jazz. You'll receive a link that'll get you to our giving page. That's how you do it. You can always visit rooseveltjazz.org, the main website for this incredible public school program, live jazz music right here tonight, coming to you from the Roosevelt Theater. And that's how you give tonight. I've got some shout outs tonight, and I want to make sure that we recognize we've had some incredible support coming in tonight. I mentioned some of those $1,000 donors tonight, and we also have a lot of $500 donors I'd like to get to. Thanks to Roy Tsu of Edward Jones for his $500 donation. Nancy Buchanan, alumni member, mother of Matt Buchanan, and Andrew and Nancy, great friends of Roosevelt Jazz. Also tonight, big shout out to my mother, Sandra Mowry, in at $500. Thanks, Mom. And a big shout out to our friends and fellow jazz family members, Kurt and Kim Salen, for their incredible gift tonight of $500. Also, Tori and Ted Baer are in for $500, and the Pettis family is in for $500. Currently out of town touring colleges with orchestra player Anna Pettis. Shout out to Christine Giro and her incredible orchestra program as well here at Roosevelt. We love those guys. A big shout out to the man that keeps the time for, I think it's the University of Miami now. Henry Moore's folks are in for a $500 donation. Thank you so much to Henry's parents for that incredible gift. And I mentioned earlier tonight we got gifts from the Casaza family at $1,000. The Elliots were in for $1,000. The Crooks are in for $1,000, and Carlos Gonzalez in for $1,000, as well as the Fulton family, parents of George and Graham Fulton. Great members of the family. More gifts to talk about a little bit later. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a special video message from Michael Van Bebber, and he's going to talk a little bit about some of the elements of the jazz programs that he's experienced, and then we'll come back and have a conversation with Scott Brown, and we'll meet our distinguished alumni. So here he is, Michael Van Bebber.
All right, my name is Michael Van Bebber.
You guys sounded great.
Is that going to be heard? You're messing up my interview. Bands were really strong. Like, for example, we were accepted to the Monterey Jazz Festival several years in a row. We were finalists in the Monterey Jazz Festival out of 12 to 15 bands throughout the world. At the Reno Jazz Festival, we won first place every year we were involved in the Reno Jazz Festival. Jazz Band 4 won first place at the Bellevue Jazz Festival once in their division. So the bands were super strong, and like I said, we had 4 bands, which we only have 3 bands now, mostly because of a numbers issue. We need to build students' confidence, which is happening, and build the sense of community, which really can only be done in person. You know, playing concerts, for example, that gives students confidence. playing it in an ensemble setting where they can play together in real time, talking to the music directors at the middle schools. I think that's what needs to be done is happening, and we just need to see how it pans out. There's more great music that I haven't heard than I even have hours of life left, and that's kind of a great thing that I kind of keeps me moving.
Well, thank you so much, Michael Van Bebber. Thank you for what you do for all of the students, and thanks to you at home tonight supporting this incredible program. Well, it's an exciting point of the evening for me because I get to visit with one of my favorite educators and music heroes, Scott Brown. And Scott and I have some fabulous memories together. I've been fortunate to be associated with this program and have chaperoned several trips before, including a trip to Europe. So much fun. But Scott, I think about the time we were last together in person, 2019 in South Seattle Community College, and talk about the dedication of members of the band, because that was an amazing evening, and we did something kind of crazy afterwards. And I know that the dedication continued through the pandemic, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, that was an amazing time. Wonderful to be live and all that. We want to just thank all of you for allowing us to come into your homes this evening as well. This is a very special evening for us over here at the Roosevelt Performing Arts Center. But down there in South Seattle, we put on our last live fundraiser, and the crazy thing was, after we had finished, Nelson got into a cab, and a bunch of students joined him because the orchestra had already traveled to New York to play at Carnegie Hall. Tell them about that adventure.
Well, it was something, Scott. I literally stepped off the stage, and we had 5 students with us, several, I think 4 jazz members that played at the event that night, and then 1 orchestra member who had a conflict. The 5 of us jumped in the cab, raced to SeaTac, got on the plane, flew to New York City by way of Chicago O'Hare, and when we arrived in Chicago, our United Flight 71 for JFK had already left. And that was unexpected, but that's what happens. And so I had this incredible gate agent who took us to the customer service, and I said, look, these 5 kids have to be in New York City today because they're playing at Carnegie Hall. And the customer service angel said, they're playing in Carnegie Hall? Well, we're going to get them to New York City. So through 3 flights and several hours of delays, we were able to make it, and it was super fun. I got to hang out with Parker Casaza from JB1. Shout out, Parker. Good to see you, brother. And anyway, it was pretty cool, and we made it there. The kids were incredible. Christine Giroux's orchestra program, as you know, it's phenomenal, and they rocked Carnegie Hall. It wasn't a competition, but they definitely won it. And that was a lot of fun. Got to spend time with these incredible kids, and you know, the ability to adapt and to deal with a crisis is kind of, and to be improvisational is kind of at the heart of jazz. And with that in mind, share a little bit about some of the challenges that have been part of the last 2 years. I mean, they've been epic for so many of us in so many ways, but for a music teacher, instructor, educator?
Well, I mean, that combination of dedication and improvisation is really at the core of what we're doing. And I mean, I'm thinking back through the time online when my students would join me. I was in my basement on a laptop computer, and I had a little circle on a piece of paper behind me, because for a lot of my students, all I would see would be a circle and their initials, because they didn't have to put their cameras on. Jazz band was a little bit different because we knew each other. And I mean, I can't think of one student who missed one online rehearsal at any time. They were engaged, they were dedicated. Despite all the disappointments of not being able to perform together, to rehearse together, to maybe travel, they totally stuck with it. And now that we're back in person, it's a joy. We're really celebrating over here at Roosevelt. I'm telling you, we're loving this.
Well, thank you, and thanks to all the students for the perseverance and the ability to adapt and just deal with it. I mean, that is, it's familiar in the sense that, you know, this world of fundraising overnight flipped to online. And while it works and it's effective, we sure enjoy the opportunity to be in person. And it's just so much more real and authentic. And Yeah, I mean, it's just great to be here. It's fun to be here with you. I would love to segue a little bit into a tradition at this event, which is the distinguished alumni shout-out and feature that has been a big part of this program for many, many years. And I think back in 2019, we were with the incredibly talented cellist and bassist Ryan Cross, who's just crushing it in LA. I didn't know Ryan before that event, but what a guy, so fun, met his whole family, and I follow him, can't wait to go to LA and see his show. He's got a regular program going. And we have another incredible distinguished alum to learn about tonight and to share with our audience at home. So tell us about Devon.
Well, one of the wonderful things about my career is that I have the opportunity to meet young people who have just come out of middle school. And sometimes I'll meet them at the middle school, and we get a chance to work together, and they come through this pipeline. And thinking back about Devon Lewis, Devon came in, and he had such a positive presence, such enthusiasm. He was a raw drummer, but he developed his skills over 4 years in the program, and you'll hear from Devon how that went for him. One of the beautiful things right now is that I have an opportunity to play alongside some of my former students, and we're in the Seattle Repertory Jazz Orchestra together. So just recently, Devon Lewis has become the drummer for the Seattle Repertory Jazz Orchestra. So I get to give him a bad time if he misses any fills, because he's still a student. Devon is a wonderful human being.
He is indeed. Well, Scott, just so great to be back in person live tonight, and look forward to having all of our viewers at home join us. I want to make sure tonight at some point that we hear about the next. Are we going to have some live Roosevelt Jazz in this incredible performing arts space before the end of the year? Absolutely. Okay, so they could probably tune in at rooseveltjazz.org for the latest updates. If you're not on the mailing list, go there, sign up, because we want to get you back in the theater for some live jazz for sure.
There's one more thing. I'm not just a teacher, but I'm actually a learner. And this man right here taught me something very important on our last Europe trip. And I'm talking about, how did you title this thing? We're talking about the bus wheel roulette. We were actually gambling on a school trip. And Nelson had set up a little pinpointer at the top of the wheel well on the right front of the bus. And then he would chalk in the numbers that the students wanted to bid on. And the next time we came to a rest stop, wherever that indicator was, that student would win, and it was usually like a Toblerone candy bar. But I will never forget that. Nelson J., you were something else.
Thank you. You know, one of my past careers, Scott, I was a tour director, and there's a lot of time on the road. So I thought, I have to share, this is so funny. If you ever get an opportunity to volunteer to be a chaperone for any Roosevelt function, you should absolutely do it. If you get to go on a road trip, say, to Europe with the jazz band, definitely sign up for it. And I want to just share quickly that we were at the chaperone meeting, and I kind of got pressed into service because there were shorter chaperones. And my wife said, you know, Nelson, Toby might not get to go to Europe with the jazz band if there aren't a couple more chaperones. And I said, okay, I'll go. And at the meeting, they said, well, now we have to have the discussion about the lead chaperone. And I was like, lead chaperone, what's that? They said, well, you have to interface with with our man, our tour guide, Johan, Dutch guy. He speaks like 7 languages. He's fabulous. But they said, you have to be the go-between between the band and the group and Johan from Holland. And I was like, oh, that's right in my wheelhouse. I'll do it. And so I did. And one of the things that I remembered about tour guiding is that, you know, it's a lot of time in the coach. And you don't call it a bus, it's a motor coach. And on that motor coach, we chalked up the wheel. We had our wonderful driver, Renee, from Leipzig, East Germany, now Germany. Renee was great, and the students were fun. And we hooked them up with chocolate and Haribo. And people were like, what are you doing? Why are we signing up on this clipboard? And boy, that was a lot of fun. And it was, for me, traveling with the band, it couldn't have been better. And the experience that those kids get, they travel like rock stars in Europe. And we hope that happens in the future again. It travels back. And I think what we'll do is maybe let you introduce, you gave some great remarks to Devon, but we have a video that we'd love to share. Should we just tee that up now and roll it? Okay, so we're going to roll it. Here he is, distinguished alum. Would have been at the 2020 event had we done it in person, but you're hearing him via video. Here he is, Devon Lewis.
Man, everything Mr. Brown taught me during that time period in high school. I was in the jazz band from the years 2000 to 2002, so 3 years. My first year, freshman year in '99, I was in the vocal jazz band. But man, I mean, from playing drum, from a drummer standpoint, staying in the pocket, you know, swinging hard every time, you know, and I still take that with me, like, now, you know, like, it's like, if I hear somebody, I'm like, oh, he ain't swinging hard. He's not staying in the pocket. Or me, you know, it's like, I'm always thinking about that deep pocket, because that's what Roosevelt was about. He was about, you know, he's the best educator I know. That's because I only went to his class. It's like, no. But I loved going to 5th period jazz band. Right after lunch, it was a perfect time. I had lunch, then go to jazz band, and done lots of stuff. So it's about just being dedicated to what you believe in. And just him showing us as students at that time that he's dedicated in what he does and loves it. You got to encourage the younger musicians or younger artists or whatever they do. Stay dedicated, you know, because you will succeed, you know, if you just keep going. Just keep going. It might be hard, might be some stumbling here and there, but if you just keep your eyes on the prize, it's going to be successful. I love Scott Brown. That's it. I love Scott Brown and will forever.
Well, thank you, Devon, and what a great testimonial about the power of Roosevelt Jazz. And friends, speaking of the power of Roosevelt Jazz, I would like to give a huge thank you to this incredible collection. Just over a week ago, we sent out a call to the alumni network that I'm familiar with, and the response was unbelievable. So in just under a week, we were able to hear from so many of our jazz families, and there are many more that are in the process of contributing right now, but we put together this impromptu challenge called the Roosevelt Jazz Alumni Challenge, and it's a fund. It's just some money that we were able to put together to help out tonight, and I want to let you know that the following players, these are the students that were in the Roosevelt Jazz Band. So many more that are not going to be mentioned because they're in the process of making their donations, and this is the information I had before we went live tonight. But as of tonight, through this incredible support of the alumni group, kicking in over $7,000 to this incredible program tonight. A big shout out to the family of Sylvie Cromer, class of 2021. And folks, if you're not raising your paddle, you can clap when you hear these names tonight. Also, Carter Eng. Carter Eng, class of 2019 is in. Nick and Nate Messler, the Messler twins, classes of 2021. And an amazing spinach-powered pianist, Aaron Corver, class of 2019. Also, I mentioned him earlier, but Matthew Buchanan with class of 2018, along with Ben Salen. Those trumpet players, class of 2018. Also, Henry Moore is in class of 2019. And then in the more from the class of 2019, Toby J, representing the J family, and of course, Zach Salen as well, brother of Ben Salen. Zach, Toby, and Henry and Carter, and so many more, class of 2019. Also tonight, class of 2022 in JB1, representing the Nolander clan, that's Rachel Nolander, class of 2022, graduating this May, and her brother Ethan held down that trombone section back in the day, class of 2018. Big shout out to the Fulton family, George Fulton, class of 2018, and Graham Fulton, class of 2018, and George Fulton, of course, graduating last year, class of 2021. Also in the mix, James Pettis, class of 2019, and way back to 2015, Lee Swadine and brother Nikki Swedeen, who was on that trip to Europe. Thanks so much for those families and so many more. If you'd like to join that list, like Lisa Yohalem, who's just kicked in $250, now's the time to make those gifts, friends. Remember, the auction is open tomorrow until 5 p.m. The giving window is open tonight all the way up through tomorrow at 5 p.m. Gifts of any amount at any time. You can give $500, you can give $250, you can give $1,000, you could give $250,000 if that worked for you. And that would set us up nicely. Where is Mackenzie Scott when we need her? And she's been so amazing. If you haven't been following that, incredible philanthropist right here in Seattle, and thanks to each and every one of you at home for giving tonight. I have a few more shout outs to give. What we're going to do is we're going to go to JB1, Jazz Band 1, and I'm going to toss it to Scott. They're going to play, I think, 3 or 4 songs. Scott, you're going to do 3, and then we have a fourth one? Or? Great. So we're going to do 3 songs. Then I'm going to come back, we'll do some wrap-up information, and then I'm going to toss it back to Scott to play us on out with JB1. So here he is from the Washington Music Educators Hall of Fame, something like that. Let's hear it for Scott Brown and Roosevelt Jazz Band.
that tune, check 1, 2. That tune right there is right at the heart and soul of what we are about at Roosevelt High School. I'm talking about Playing the Blues. That is a great tune by Frank Foster, who was in the Second Testament Basie Band. He wrote that for the band, and it's entitled Who Me. And we got a lot of history with that tune. All my alums out there, you know what I'm talking about. We featured on the trumpet, on plunger trumpet, that's Holden Abermonte. Holden's getting a lot of action tonight. Nicely done. On the trombone, Parker Casaza. Tenor saxophone extraordinaire, Tayo Fua. On the piano, you heard from Theo Schaus. Now, you may have noticed looking in the band, there's one individual who looks just slightly older than the rest, just a little bit. And I'm talking about Dr. Michael Van Bebber, who is subbing in tonight for Hans Fall. Hans is playing with the Seattle Youth Symphony at Benaroya Hall. So we thought we'd give him a little break tonight, and we brought in Michael, and he played a great solo at the end of that tune. Michael Van Bebber. We'd like to continue now with a tune written by a great local musician who has gone on and done a few pretty impressive things. I'm talking about Quincy Jones, the amazing composer, trumpet player, arranger, producer, unbelievable human being who just had his 89th birthday. And this tune by Quincy Jones is entitled Stockholm Sweetenin', and you're going to hear from Javier Gonzalez on the trumpet. You'll hear from Theo Schaus again on the piano. You'll hear from Rachel Nolander on alto saxophone, Liam Randall on baritone saxophone, and a very special trio that's playing part of a transcription of a Clifford Brown solo. I'm talking about Dylan Seneschal, going to be playing for you on the flute. Rachel will join her on alto saxophone, and Javi's going to be on cup mute trumpet. This is a wonderful composition by Quincy Jones entitled Stockholm Sweetenin'. It's hard to go wrong with Quincy Jones. Beautiful job by the band. That's wonderful, you guys. Beautiful. I want to mention on this next tune that we're going to start out with Grace Costi. And this kind of, it really outlines the kind of thing that happens when these young people get fired up and they get motivated. It starts in the middle school. Maybe they get a chance to hear us coming over here to the school for the Jazz Nutcracker, as I know a lot of these students that are in the house tonight. That's the first time they got a chance to hear the Roosevelt Jazz Band. And this young woman, Grace Costi, came from Jane Addams Middle School, a wonderful program there, and she's been really fired up her whole 4 years here. So we were lucky that she was able to make it for the performance tonight because she had a little gig earlier today. Yeah, it was with the great pianist George Cables. And Grace was on bass, and she was the only non-professional in the group. Jerome Jennings on the drums, wonderful drummer out of New York. But I guess now we can't say that Grace is a non-professional because he just played a gig with George Cables. Oh my gosh, give it up. I could literally go on and on about our musicians and how they've gone really out in the world and played around the world and are still continuing to play. Devon, of course, is a great example of that. But we have a ton of musicians here in Seattle who have graduated from Roosevelt High School and a ton of musicians in New York and really all around the United States and in the world. We would like to conclude with a piece that's by the great Duke Ellington. We could not have a concert without doing some Duke Ellington. He's been such a huge part of our lives and of this program. So we're going to start out with Grace on the bass. You're going to hear from Theo Schaus on the piano, Yoshi Stroh on the drums. You're going to hear from Owen Gwynn on tenor saxophone. You'll hear from Javier Gonzalez on the trumpet once again. And I think that's it. Oh, no, that's not it. Because you've got to hear from Mako Dakanai on the guitar as well. It wouldn't be right if we didn't hear from Mako. This was from the Afro-Eurasian Eclipse, Duke Ellington, released in 1975. It's called Chinoiserie. We hope you enjoy it.
Wow, Roosevelt Jazz Band, outstanding. Friends, don't change that dial at home. We might sneak one more tune out of this incredible band. And before we do that, wanted to let you know we have some incredible words from director Scott Brown, and we're going to go to those right now. We'll come back, rock out with some more music from Roosevelt Jazz Band. Here he is, Scott Brown.
Now we're getting back at it. It feels so good. And I feed off the energy of the kids. That's why it was so hard being a teacher online, is because you don't get that feedback. And it's such a give and take thing being a teacher. It can't be all just coming from you. You can only do so much. And then if the students are bringing that back to you, then it does this. And that's what's happening now. We were just able to celebrate the fact that we were back together, we were able to make music, and let's take it a step at a time and show grace to one another and remember how special it is that we get to do this again. As you know, I mean, it's a small band. You know, talk about numbers.
Oh yeah,
you know, that's the smallest jazz band I've ever had in my career. But they've totally risen to the occasion, and that's what kids do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's what they do. Especially if they come into you know, a group that's established and has a tradition, and they know that that's the expectation. That's what they want.
Well, there he is, friends, Director Scott Brown, talking about the importance of jazz and the challenges that were the last 2 years, and what an amazing program that Scott and Dr. Kent and Dr. Michael Van Bebber have put together here at Roosevelt High School. Just amazing. Well, I want to give a few more shout outs, and then I promise you we're going to get back to the music. We're going to have one more song from the incredible Roosevelt Jazz Band. Big thanks to Mark Fung, Michaela Rudnick, Aaron Duran, Susanna Frame, Barbara Ransom, Ed Cromer, and Lynn Amon. Kim Larson, thank you. Viviana Bombardre, thank you. Joan Crooks, thank you. Joanne Ton, thank you for your support. Charisse Groff Randall tonight, thank you so much. Natalie Naren, Pat Boyle, Jimmy Ing, Jimmy and Alicia Ing, Michelle Solis, Corey Barr, John Kushlaika, and of course the Nolander family for their incredible support. I know I missed some of you tonight, but I know you want to get back to the music. Final reminder that we are open online for bidding tomorrow until 5 p.m. Remember, 5 p.m., the auction closes. Everything in the online auction, the trip to Bend, Oregon, Walla Walla, the incredible private party at the Shop and Automotive Dreamland down in South Seattle, and so much more. We've got wine packages and lots of ways to support Roosevelt Jazz. That'll be closing tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, so don't miss out. Wanted to say thank you to everybody for joining us at home tonight, and now back to Scott Brown and Roosevelt Jazz Band.
Well, I'd like to extend those thank yous as well, and something very special happening here is that up in the sound booth is another graduate of the Roosevelt Music and Jazz program, and he's doing a great job tonight. I'd like you to give it up for Ethan Bovey back there on sound. Thank you, Ethan. We are also so very fortunate to have a wonderful theater manager here at the Roosevelt Performing Arts Theater. Can we give it up for Christy Matthews? Beautiful. Mostly thank you to all of our students who are here performing this evening and all of my students in the past. You all know that I'm a very sentimental individual. So I don't think it would be right unless we played a ballad. So we'd like to close the evening with one of the great ballads by Duke Ellington. We're going to feature Javier Gonzalez on the trumpet. You'll hear an introduction by Theo Schaus on the piano. You'll hear from Owen Gwynn on the clarinet, Parker Casaza on trombone. This is The Lady of the Lavender Mist. And thank you all so very much for supporting Roosevelt Jazz. And that is about love. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
Wow, what a night. Thank you to the Roosevelt Jazz Band. Give them one more great big round of applause. Wow. What an evening of live jazz right here at the Roosevelt Performing Arts Center. My name is Nelson J. It has been a pleasure and honor to be your host tonight. I think I had the best seat in the house, and jazz is alive and well, and we sure appreciate your support at home. Thank you for what you've just done for Roosevelt Jazz. Remember, friends, giving is open. If you know somebody that's a jazz fan and they couldn't be with us tonight, share that link, and they can rewatch that, and we just so appreciate everything you've done. Our fundraising up to nearly $18,000 tonight. It's great success, and we couldn't have done it without your help tonight. Remember, that online auction closing tomorrow, that's March 27th, Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. You can also make your gifts right up until that time. If you've got corporate matching gifts, or you'd like to make a gift from a donor-advised fund or a gift of stock, just connect directly with our team at rooseveltjazz.org and send a message. Dorothy Roca is your point of contact there, and she'll connect you with our giving team. So thanks so much again. My name is Nelson. Congratulations to each and every one of the student players. And for those that didn't get to play over the last 2 years, thank you for your perseverance. And with all the chaos and challenges in the world today, it sure is great to hear some jazz music live. Good night, everybody.